Hello, I am Dr. Hazel Brown and I work in Southampton Education School within the Faculty of Social and Human Sciences at the University of Southampton. In my experience, students can be unappreciative of research methods modules. This can frequently be down to them not understanding how the materials are relevant to their named course of study. As a tutor of research methods, I see it as my job to help students appreciate the relevance of such module material, not only the relevance to their dissertation, but to their reading and understanding of all research in their discipline. I also hope to inspire them to become researchers. I've taught both quantitative and qualitative methods to undergrad students in sport studies, sports science, and most recently here at the University of Southampton to education studies students and to education and psychology students. It is with these students that the following innovation in study and assessment has been fully explored. Our mode of delivery is the traditional lecture and seminar, although for quantitative methods the seminar room is often swapped for the computer room. As a tutor in higher education, I'm keen that my students are fully engaged in their learning and that their experience is maximised, and as such I've taken regard of what research shows us about retention in learning. Research has investigated how much of our learning we retain after 24 hours have elapsed. We only retain 5% of material from a lecture, and yet this continues to be our most prevalent mode of teaching in higher education. We only retain 10% of what we read and 20% from an audio-visual presentation. If we undertake a demonstration for our students, then they may retain 30% of the information imparted, whilst if they take part in a discussion group, then they may retain up to 50% of what was talked about. To maximise retention of learning, students need to practice by doing and immediately use their learning in order to have the chance of retaining up to 90% of the material. In order to have students practice by doing and immediately using their learning, we encourage them to take part in a final year dissertation project right from their arrival at university. We hope that they will all sign up to be participants in a dissertation research, but they're also able to sign up as research assistants. Ethically, we can't force them to be participants, which is why the option of being an assistant is also offered. But in practice so far, all of our students have been participants in at least one research project. We only ask that the project is related to the title of their degree course. They could take part in postgraduate or staff research instead, and they're not limited to one project. Also in their first year, they conduct their own mini research project. Staff provide the basic design for this, and it's normally of experimental nature, producing quantitative data for analysis. By the end of their first year, students have experienced research from two vantage points, that of the research participant and that of the researcher. For their assessment, they write a reflective account of being a research participant, and they're encouraged to examine the project from an ethical stance and also to review the design and make predictions about what they think the final results will show. Their predictions must be based on the academic literature, of course. For the second part of their assessment, they write up their own mini research project, and they do that in a standard academic format. In the second year of undergraduate study, we encourage our students to engage in a series of small research projects. They may take one theme throughout or use different themes. This year, many students focused on the impact of the introduction of £9,000 per year fees for new students. Some looked at the impact of single-gender education compared with co-education. Students design a questionnaire to gather data from a very small number of people, up to 5, certainly no more than 10. They also design an interview schedule and interview 3 people. Within the cohort, they break down into small focus groups of 4 people, having designed a focus group schedule examining their chosen topic. In this way, we end up with a portfolio of research which can be submitted for assessment. To complete this portfolio, we provide a set of statistical problems on a week-by-week basis, compatible with the statistical tests they have been learning in workshops. Ideally, the data for these would have been generated by themselves in their own research, but so far we've provided the data to ensure that the criteria for parametric testing is met. The portfolio submission includes data analysis and discussion of results. We also encourage the students to critically reflect on the research process. In this way, we hope the students will now be prepared for undertaking their own dissertation research project with a clear idea of which methods of data collection appeal to them. How have students received this approach? Students like to be engaged with hands-on data collection. They appreciate using real data. They're also enabled to see how research might be undertaken in the workplace, for example, action research in schools and colleges. Overall, our research methods module feedback no longer says, I can't see the relevance of this module to my subject area, but instead says such things as, I enjoyed undertaking interviews as it made the theoretical side come alive.